Welcome back to Factor. The recent deaths of multi-dozen Indian soldiers along the contested frontier at Ladakh between India and China represent the largest loss of life from a skirmish between the two countries in 43 years. It also highlights the tensions that have been building along the line of actual control since early May, which has virtually left India out of options. Today we would look at 10 moves made by China to checkmate India at LAC, particularly in Ladakh, a region whose status was recently changed by India to a union territory. Number 10. China cowardly moved 200,000 PLA troops in Tibet, near LAC. In January, the People's Liberation Army began its New Year military exercises in the high-altitude Tibet Autonomous Region bordering India, deploying helicopters, armored vehicles, heavy artillery, anti-aircraft missiles, and other latest weapons, including the Type 15 light battle tank and the new 155 mm vehicle-mounted howitzer. Both the tank and the howitzer, which were revealed to the public on the National Day military parade on October 1 last year, are specifically designed with advantages for the plateau regions and can play important roles in safeguarding border areas at LAC. Now since January, there are 200,000 Chinese troops doing exercise in Tibet Autonomous Region. How difficult is this for them to move to the frontier if required? They can simply stroll to the frontier. This move was the beginning of the series of strategic and tactical moves made by China during her Ladakh campaign. Number 9. China caught India napping at LAC. Apparently, India was too much Pakistan-centric, even after changing status of the Indian-held state of Jammu and Kashmir, including its northern region of Ladakh. Indians were expecting a response from Pakistan and nothing from China. But how wrong were they? They found that out when they were caught napping and ill-prepared by the Chinese in Ladakh. Taking advantage of India's negligence, China initially moved ahead and made ingresses in multiple locations in Ladakh and later made another ingress in Sikkim. The photo shows 3 ingresses made by the Chinese in Ladakh that are Galwan River Valley, Hot Springs, and Pangong. The Chinese have also ingressed in Naku, which is located in northern Sikkim and was never a disputed area. Number 8. China's strategic move to ingress in Galwan River Valley. Chinese ingress to the Galwan River Valley is a strategic move, and their objective is to control heights next to the road in Subsector North in Ladakh. The Daulat Beg Oldi Road, also called the Subsector North Road, is an all-weather road in eastern Ladakh in India, which is in close proximity to the line of actual control with China. It runs along the Shyok River and connects the villages of Dabuk and Shyok at southern Shyok Valley with the Daulat Beg Oldi post near the Karakoram Pass, the northmost point in Ladakh. This is the most critical line of communication close to the LAC and comes under Patrol Point 14. On May 5, China made a strategic move and ingress to the Galwan River Valley. The Galwan River Valley is the highest ridgeline along the Shyok River, and it allows the Chinese to dominate the Shyok road passes, which are close to the river. Chinese are keen on controlling this area as they feared that the Indian side could end up threatening their position on the Aksai Chin Plateau by using the river valley. The situation in Galwan River Valley is worrying for India since the PLA has crossed China's own claim line, which Beijing had stated was the border with India in 1993, and has now ingressed 3-4 kilometers into Indian claimed territory. Number 7. China moved forward to Finger 4 in Pangong. Pangong or Pangong Lake in eastern Ladakh has often been in the news. In the Ladakhi language, Pangong means extensive concavity, and Su is a lake in Tibetan. It's a long, narrow, deep, landlocked lake situated at a height of more than 14,000 feet in the Himalayas. By itself, the lake does not have major tactical significance, but it lies in the path of Chushol approach, one of the main approaches that China can use for an offensive into Indian-held territory. The barren mountains on lake's northern bank, called the Chengchenmo, jut forward in major spurs, which the army calls fingers. India claims that the LAC is conterminous with finger 8, but it physically controls area only up to finger 4. Chinese border posts are at finger 8, while it believes that the LAC passes through finger 2. The Chinese use light vehicles on the road to patrol up to finger 2, which has a turning point for their vehicles. On night of May 5 and 6, a scuffle broke out between Indian and Chinese troops at the Pangong Tso, and a video was shared on social media showed soldiers from both nations engaged in fistfights and stone pelting at finger 5. Some troops suffered minor injuries during the incident, which ended in a few minutes though. Number 6. China's move in Demchok. The Charding Nala, traditionally known as the Lahari stream and called the Demchok River by China, is a small river that serves as the de facto border between China and India in the Demchok sector. Besides the Chinese incursions into the Galwan River Valley on May 5, followed by another incursion in similar numbers into the Pangong Tso sector, simultaneously there was a smaller incursion near Demchok in southern Ladakh, which is only a diversionary tactic meant to spread the spectrum of the conflict across 300 kilometers of frontier in eastern Ladakh. Thus far, we took a look at 5 moves made by China to checkmate India at LAC. We still got 5 more moves to go. If you liked our video so far, then please let us know by pressing the like icon and dropping a comment below. Also, if you are new to the channel, then please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notifications. Number 5. China's costling move in Naku. Few days after China's ingress in Ladakh, on May 9, China continued to ingress further, but nearly 1200 kilometers away to the east along the LAC. This time, the confrontation between the troops from both sides took place at Sikkim's Nakula sector, a pass located at an altitude of 19,000 feet. Nakula is known as a sensitive area, meaning a territory that can trigger a confrontation due to the sensitivity attached to it. Indian and Chinese troops clashed with each other, including jostling and stone pelting. About a dozen soldiers from both sides got minor injuries. However, the matter was resolved at the local formation commander level on the same day. Chinese soldiers have set up camp across 2 kilometers of the international boundary. It may be noted that, unlike the frontier in Ladakh, northern Sikkim has a settled boundary with China. In fact, China has ingressed into 1993 LAC, which was created when Prime Minister Narasimha Rao went to China, and more importantly, Nakula was never a disputed area. Again, the Nakula move is a diversionary tactic, meant to expand the conflict from the western front to the eastern front, much like the castling move in chess. Importantly, Nakula is located in the tiny Indian state of Sikkim, which lies just north of India's chicken neck, the Siliguri Corridor, a 22-kilometer stretch of land that connects northeast India's 7 sister states with mainland India. Obstructing Siliguri Corridor means the northeast India's 7 sister states are disconnected from the rest of the country. There has been no development in Nakula since May 9, and there are no concerns of a Chinese force build-up either. Number 4. China's superiority in numbers, ammunition and habitat. Since May 5, India has been beefing up its numbers at the LAC and has also moved around 60 Bofors guns to the front line. However, the weapon is not there. Weapon is not a platform, a device or a gun, but the ammunition. Indian Army is in need of special ammunition, and the fact of the matter is that India neither has the ammunition nor can it get ammunition from elsewhere in this short time. While the PLA already have everything in Tibet, they have been conducting military exercises with live ammunition in Tibet since January. PLA have reportedly come in large numbers. The satellite image from Planet Labs show a Chinese motorcade, of course on the Chinese side of LAC. PLA are staying, have dug down, and in tents, and not just as a short-time patrol. The satellite image from Planet Labs show Chinese prefabricated housing visible along the banks of Galwan River. So this beefing up numbers by India does not make sense. This is not sustainable. There is no environment or habitat to do so. Number 3. China's complete dominance in algorithmic warfare. PLA has a strategic support force, also called PLA SSF, which is believed to be responsible for facilitating and integrating PLA's space, cyberspace, and electromagnetic spectrum warfare capabilities. The Strategic Support Force is believed to be comprise several divisions. These include the Space Systems Department, which provides space-based information support and intelligence for the PLA. In contrast, the Network Systems Department is responsible for managing cyber, electronic, and psychological warfare capabilities. According to the US Department of Defense (DoD), the PLA has consistently advocated cyber warfare to achieve a range of operational objectives, such as targeting an adversary's command, control, and communications and logistics networks. At the same time, its cyber warfare capabilities can also be used to collect intelligence or to serve as a force multiplier when coupled with conventional kinetic attacks. The vast amounts of data and the speed of cyber attacks demand a degree of cognitive power and agility that is beyond what human actors working in isolation can provide. Chinese military leaders are fully aware of the potential of AI to boost the effectiveness of its personnel and even systems by processing and filtering information, enabling them to adapt to rapidly evolving operational environments. For example, AI is being viewed as a tool to automate processes that govern cyber attacks, potentially alleviating the existing compromise between the scale and efficiency of attacks. For cyber defense, AI could significantly increase reaction speed by using predictive capabilities that enable mining and leveraging historical and real-time data at exceptional swiftness. Now, India is claiming to have mobilized faster to take on any potential threat from the PLA. This shows a complete disregard for how the warfare is evolving. Indians see only the linear battlefields that are land, air, and water. However, for the PLA, there are 6 battlefields that also include space, cyberspace, and electromagnetic spectrum. This is where they would start the war. Obviously, they would play in the fields of their strength and choice and can bring the entire nation to her knees without firing a shot. Number 2. Dragons Hunt in Galwan River Valley. On June 15, India and China have had their first deadly clash in 45 years. Both armies wielded only sticks and stones at the front, but that was deadly enough. Furious hand-to-hand fighting raged across the Galwan River Valley for over 8 hours. The PLA assault teams armed with iron rods as well as batons with nails slaughtered troops of Indian 16 Bihar Regiment. Even unarmed men who fled into the hillsides were hunted down and killed mercilessly. When the brawl ended and the final rocks had been thrown, multi-dozen Indian troops, including 16 Bihar's commanding officer, Colonel Santosh Babu, lay dead in the Galwan Valley, high in the mountains of Ladakh, while over 150 were injured and needed treatment. 3 weeks later, on July 6, both sides withdrew back about 1.5 kilometers from the site of the clash in Galwan River Valley. The PLA dismantled their tents and structures near the site of the clash. The terms of disengagement regard the LAC as running through the Vainala junction. This is 1 kilometer inside India when compared with the LAC's historical alignment next to the Petrol Point 14, also called the PP-14. The area in which PP-14 is located, and which the Indian Army has patrolled for decades, now effectively falls inside China's buffer zone. The plan permits each country to maintain 2 tent posts in its buffer zone. The forward tent post will be located 1.4 kilometers from the Y junction. The second tent post will be 1.6 kilometers further behind the forward tent post, that is 3 kilometers for the Y junction. By restricting the Indian presence to tent camps, China can continue with its new claim over the entire Galwan River Valley, which it has voiced several times in the past 2 months. Number 1. China's wolf warrior diplomacy. There is a new brand of diplomacy taking hold in Beijing, and its chief architects have a suitably fierce nickname to match their aggressive style. They are the Wolf Warriors. Wolf Warrior is a Chinese action blockbuster that highlights agents of Chinese Special Operation Forces. They have boosted national pride and patriotism among Chinese viewers. Wolf Warrior Diplomacy, named after these movies, describes offenses by Chinese diplomats to defend China's national interests, often in confrontational ways. Instead of long verbose statements, these Chinese officials are taking to Twitter and other social media platforms to hit back directly at any criticism of China or the ruling Communist Party. Following the June 15 carnage in Galwan River Valley, the two countries have remained in touch in order to find ways of resolving the standoff at the border. While the diplomatic talks were being held, the rhetoric in Beijing was turned up a notch. China's defense and foreign ministries reiterated their claim over the Galwan River Valley, put blame and warned India of severe consequences for the June 15 incident. In unusually strong words, even during the current tensions, China's Foreign Office spokesperson Zhao Lijian warned India about its actions in Galwan River Valley and said, "They are of a vile nature and have severe consequences." This is a perfect example of putting salt on the Galwan wound. China's strategy has been to win without fighting, and the July 6 disengagement, if not de-escalation, fits well with China's interest in presenting India a fait accompli. Removing the threat of an Indian counteroffensive or the Indian tit-for-tat land grab will help China win without fighting. It explains why China has accepted disengagement, but on its terms. This is illustrated in the Galwan River Valley, where India has pulled back from its own territory and created a buffer zone on its side of the LAC. In fact, in Galwan River Valley, China has undone Indian Army's efforts of past 27 years by effectively shifting the frontier back to China's November 1959 claim line. These steps, though temporary, create a new China advantageous status quo that would keep India out of China's newly claimed zone, the Galwan River Valley. That is it for today. These were the 10 moves made by China to checkmate India in Ladakh. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned with us as we will be sharing on this topic frequently now. See you soon on Factor.